Hello, I'm Cal Wellborn, acarologist with the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, Division of Plant Industry in Gainesville, Florida. Okay, we're going to continue with the general key. We're going to look at some groups that we haven't looked at before. And at this level, magnification, most mites look almost the same. And that's where a lot of people have problems. Just separating them into the major groups, and that's what we're going to concentrate on this morning. So we have a mite here, and I'm going to go to a higher power so we can see details, more details. We're doing the ASCID. Okay, we have it now, we're under 40x, and first couplet, idiosoma with 1 to 4 pairs of lateral stigmata posterior to leg 2, cocci-free and movable. Without prodorsal trichobothria or podocephalic canal. Adults with 4 pairs of legs. And in the large magnification view, we saw where there's 4 pairs of legs. So now we want to look lateral. Now we want to look lateral, and we're going to look for the lateral stigmata and paratremes. Focusing laterally, this is leg 2, leg 3, and we focus sort of lateral, almost ventral. We see right here, here's your stigmata, and you see like a trough going anteriorly. Move the slide so you can see the rest of it. Continuing up and ending right there. This is the lateral paratreme. Now they're not always this long, but they'll be lateral and they'll be going towards the anterior end of the mite. If we look at the other side, might be a better view. Right. This is legs 3 and 4, leg 3, leg 4. Here's your stigmata. It's in a sclerite. There's a sclerite around it, but you can see going up here, the paratreme going up this way. If we go anterior, it shows up better as we go up here and ends right up here at the anterior end of the idiosoma. So it has lateral paratremes. Now we're going to look at the coxal fields, or cocci. So we're going to look at the ventral side. This is cox of leg 2, and you can see it's a discrete segment as opposed to the acariformes where it's fused with the ventral part of the mite. Look at another one here. These are not as clear, but this is the coxa of leg 3 and the coxa of leg 4. And they are discrete segments. Look back here. Leg 2 is the best example on the specimen. And see here, it's a discrete segment. So the cocci are free and movable. So now we're going to look for the prodorsum. Look for trichobothria. Here is the prodorsum. One giveaway that tells you it's not a acariform mite is the fact that we have multiple setae on the prodorsal area. As far as plant mites, there aren't any that have multiple setae like this on the prodorsal. Focusing on these setae, we can see there's no bothrial bases. These are all just normal setae. So it doesn't have trichobothria or podocephalic canal. Someone might confuse the paratreme with podocephalic canal, but the paratreme goes to the stigmata, so you can rule out that as a podocephalic canal. So it has 1 stigmata with a lateral paratreme. Cocci are free and movable, no prodorsal trichobothria, and no podocephalic canal, and has 4 legs, which puts it in the parasitiformes. So we go to couplet 2, palptarsus multi-tined with a multi-tined apatele, usually 2 or 3 tines, paratreme projecting anteriorly from lateral stigmata, tritosternum usually present, epistome present, tarsus legs 1 without sensory pit or Haller's organ. So we're going to look at the palps first. Here we have the palps. Here's your palptarsus, tibia, genu, femur. And right here on the palptarsus, here's your palptarsal apatele. This is a good character for mesostigmata. The acariformes or prostigmata that have a claw-like seta on the palp, it's always on the tibia. In the Mesostigmata, it's always on the tarsus. And in this case, it's a two-tined apatele on the tarsus. All right, the paratremes, we've looked at them. We'll go back to them. Here's the anterior end of the paratremes. There's one, and the other one is on the other side. It starts at the stigmata, which is here, and goes anteriorly. Epistome, let's see if we can find that. As I said, I find the epistome one of the hardest structures to find as far as mesostigmata. I can see a little bit of it. It's on the dorsal part of the gnathosoma. If you look very carefully, you can see a two-tined structure here. Goes up to two little fine points. That's the epistome. If the mount is not really good, it can be very difficult to see, but this one has a two-tined epistome. Tarsus leg 1 without dorsal sensory pit. We're going to look at tarsus leg 1 now. And there's no special sensory pit or what's called Howler's organ. Howler's organ occurs on ticks. It's a very distinctive pit. Now, no one's going to mistake an adult tick for a mesostig. They're very distinct. But you may get larval ticks, and that might be difficult to distinguish from a mesostig. So that's why we mentioned the Howler's organ. Howler's organ is present only on the ticks. So what we have is a mesostigmata. Let me show you a couple other structures we talked about earlier. Looking at the gnathosome, there's the palpatarsal apatele. Here's your chlysra. Here's your movable digit and your fixed digit behind here, but notice they're chelate dentate. You can see the little teeth on them. The chlysral base is down here. Frequently what happens when these are mounted is the chlysra will pop out, and normally they're held closer into the gnathosome, but sometimes they'll pop out when you mount them. Now looking at the ventral side of the gnathosome, we have your hypognathal groove right in here. This isn't well developed in this particular one, but all right. Here you can see the chlysral bases, and in mesostigmata there's usually two segments. In the prostigmata and the Acariformes there's just one segment, but the hypognathal groove doesn't show up very well, but it would be in this area. The other structure that's a characteristic of mesostigmata is your tritosternum. It's usually bifurcate. It starts between the coxa of leg 1 and goes anteriorly. In this particular specimen, the gnathosome is popped off, so it's not attached anymore. But this is the tritosternum. All right, that's all for this one. We'll move on to another mite.